Imagine if all of your business completely changed, and instead of holding on tight to money and trying to stretch it and squeeze onto it and make it last as long as possible, you saw it just compounding and stacking upon stack upon stack upon stack of cash. That's what we're going to show you how to do today with the cash flow compounder. What is this? This is crazy, but this is already week number 9 in our 12-part series on how to have a 7-figure year. If you've missed any of the previous shows, go down below here somewhere and click subscribe. We'll get those to you. And guess what? We have put together a whole vault of everything here. Every week you'll get the show, the slides, the freebies, the videos, everything that you need to make sure that you have a 7-figure year. And why are we doing this? Because this is what we do for our clients at Iconic Business Advisors. And we always work with them for a year and show them how in that time you will build a 7-figure year. Go from 6 to 7 figures. You can do it in 1 year or less, without any of the stress and the struggle and the overwhelm that you're probably dealing with already. So this is a completely new way of looking at your business. And even though we've been doing this for years, there's a lot of fundamental principles that we put into play, but there's a lot of new ones. And this is what you really want to stick around for, because right now you cannot ignore the influence of AI in your business. Now, to have all of these strategies work, you just follow the 4 steps that we show you. However, when you want to accelerate it and go a lot faster like a rocket ship, then we can layer in different agentic systems into your business. And so we are the leading consulting arm for many companies that want to do AI workforce implementation. Our consultants are the designers, and just keep following us. You will see what that means. You might be just thinking about right now, I need more profit, I need more leads, I need more cash. Cash is what we're talking about today. And we start there and your whole business can expand. So let's go ahead and dive deep into this. And if you want to hop on a quick call and figure out, just maybe you don't need us for a year. Maybe you just need a little quick turnaround and hop on a 10-minute call with us. We'll help you out. Okay, so you can go to callconnie.com and we'll take care of all of that for you and find out in 10 minutes exactly what you need. So we have a little routine that we do here every week for this series. And so we're going to go ahead and start with that. And what we want to talk about is really this. I really want you to understand that this is a way of looking at your business differently. And this is really one of the core tenets of what we do with people is you have to start looking and thinking differently. This is all about building an intelligent business, not one where you're in the hustle and grind. And so what we want to show you every time is just a one-pager. We put everything on one page. What's the whole process? What do you need? All of this is going to be in the vault for you. Just type down below vault, reach out to us, send a DM, send a message, whatever you need, but you got to get all of these parts and get it in the vault. All right. So we're going to break this down, and then I'm going to go step by step for you so you know exactly what you need to do. So again, go to callconnie.com and we will do what we call with our clients and businesses that work with us. We're going to get you cubed, okay? Because everything we do is in 4 steps. And just think of a cube, a square, right? But it's dimensional. And any way you turn it, I'll give you my cube here, right? So when you've been cubed, any way you look at your business, it's going to have perfect balance and symmetry. And maybe right now you feel a little bit more like a Rubik's Cube than a clear glass cube, and you don't have that clarity. So this is what we mean by getting cubed. And it doesn't take long. Start with a 10-minute call and we'll take care of it. And let's dive into compounding cash and of course get all of these assets when you get to the vault. So what we want to look at is the difference between the old way of doing things and the real way of doing things, right? A lot of people are thinking about revenue. Oh, I need leads, I need this. We're trying to claw and claw and claw to get cash. I'm like, oh, if I get my revenue up, everything is good. But it isn't, because some people don't have the infrastructure to actually get their revenue up, but then they're focused so much chasing the dollar that the infrastructure collapses. and they're often on this roller coaster or a loop, right? Often like, what do you call that? A hamster wheel? Yeah. So if you're getting a little dizzy from these ups and downs in your business, we want to switch to a more stable, peaceful, happy cash flow methodology. Are you up for that? Would that make sense for you? Okay, so here's what we want to look at. And this is how we look at it, right? As consultants, think about where does this play into your business? Because that's all we do is focus on growing businesses and scaling them. And if you look at the different parts of this, it makes it really interesting to look at, because what you're wanting to do is see what's flawed, what's not working, right? Most people aren't running a business. They're just doing really exhausting transactions, right? They're chasing clients. They say, oh, my business is all referrals, but that's completely unpredictable. You have no control over that. And then, yay, I land a project or I get a client. And then you're all focused on, working for that client, manual delivery. You're almost like a slave to that client or a customer. It's like you're employed by them, right? And so then you go through these cycles of feast and famine, and what happens is that you're very reactive, right? And like, okay, they said this, they want this, and there's no system. It's just, someone says jump and you're how high, okay? The market shifts and you shift with it. Very reactive, which what does that mean? That's very much chaotic for you. It's not a steady way to build a business, and not a way to have any peace and confidence in your business where you don't even know what's going to happen next. Okay. So here's the identity shift that you want to look at. So you're not really a deliverer anymore. Think of like the Uber Eats guy. I mean, you're just going around delivering things, but that's not a business. That's almost like I don't know. It doesn't have like, a really good driver would have like a route. You don't have a route. You just have like, I'll go here, I'll go there, I'll do that. Okay. You're just delivering things, but there's no rhyme or reason to it, really. And what we want you to do is to be more like an architect, right? And design this out in a way that makes sense for you and everybody else. So what's the difference? Okay. So it's about the questions you're asking. If you're a deliverer, you're saying, how can I get more clients? And if you're an architect, you're saying, let's create more cash flow. Now, the business model is one-off. It's very transactional. And as an architect, you're always looking at compounding and continuous relationships. The delivery model that we're talking about is manual. It's time consuming. You have to almost create one-off designs for every person versus being systematized and continuously expanding, knowing that people are going to be with you and stay with you for a while. And then you have the ultimate outcome that you're thinking about. Well, you're just chasing. You're exhausted. And as an architect, you don't have to worry about that exhaustion, like, having that kind of anxiousness at the end of the night, because it's very predictable, right? And you have freedom rather than being attached to the whims and whistles of all of your clients. Is this making sense? Wouldn't it be great to be more of an architect than a deliverer? That is the new trend. That's how you're building an intelligent business. If you need some help with that, again, just hop on a call. Go ahead and subscribe down here somewhere, and we will get you everything that you need to understand. Of course, we always talk about a formula. What is the formula that you can use in your business? And again, as we like to say, we stick with the fours. There's actually a mathematical reason, and tied to physics and a few other sciences that explain why this works. Okay, so let's dive into the only 4 pillars that you need to look at right now to understand this equation of cash flow. So we have recurrence. Do you have recurring revenue in your business? Do you have retention? Do you have a process for keeping people there? And do you have a system to build in expansion in your business. Okay. This isn't really math. Remember, this is really, this is math. It's not magic. Okay. It's not also a hope, a wish, and a prayer. Okay. When you have all three of these activated, right, that's where your revenue compounds, but you don't have to do more work. Okay. So if you can do these three things, that's when you see cash flow coming in on a consistent basis. So let me know in the comments if you have these, which one do you need? Which one are you missing? Or are you getting like, aha, I get it now. You're having a light bulb moment that I see what's missing. Okay. And turn that into a revenue stream for your business. And so if we want to really look at this, let's look at the first lever. Okay, that's a recurring revenue. So you have the concept of you sell it once, but you get paid often, again and again and again. This is part of that 7-figure year. So you're seen more as an advisor, right? Take on advisory roles. You have maintenance and optimization where you take them to the next level. The next level might be memberships. Then you might go into licensing and different types of retainers. Now, not the kind of retainers that maybe has a bad connotation from the legal field, right? But where you have really predictable inflows of cash. Is this making sense to you, right? So you go from here's my main core thing. In our case, it's advisory if you're a consultant or a coach or somebody in that field. But if you're a service business, your main deliverable. But get out of being a deliverer and become more of a strategic advisor to your clients. So even if you're not in consulting, you want to be seen as one. You want to be looked up as not just the cashier, but the person who gives the really good advice with whatever you're selling. All right. So this is an important distinction as you're building out your business. And so there's kind of a process that you're going to go through, right? Because a lot of people say, oh, this retainer thing, that's kind of has a strange connotation to it, right? So, usually you have, when you start with somebody, this getting out of the stigma, right, of the retainer. You might have your kickoff meeting, right? Getting connected with everything that you do. And then you have your project that you're doing. Usually it's a one-off. Like, okay, this is what they want. This is a service somebody wants. But you never want to end with one service. You should make all of your money on the back end of a client, not just on the upfront purchase, but on them staying with you year after year after year. That's how you build 4 legs on the table and not a one-legged stool. Okay, so then you get through that project and then you start to introduce this transition period. Like as you're getting closer to the end of that project, start talking more and more about this retainer concept. Right? Now, you always introduce it up front so people know that it's there, know that it's an option, because then they will hang on to it as, what happens when I'm done? Well, you're kind of never really done. We're going to be with you for life, clients for life. That is the concept, right? And then you transition into that ongoing phase. And that's where you're really seeing the monetization, right? In this stage 2. So you start with what they initially want, and then you progressively ascend them into your retainer. Okay. So if you're wondering, how does all this work for me? You want to tap into this, get the cash flow compounder. And guess what? We actually have a way to show you on, in what we call tips, right? So we can give you tips for your business, exactly how you can start compounding this. So book your 10-minute call. We'll give you the tips and then we'll show you in a diagnostic on screen. This is our iconic profit software, exactly how your profits will compound. I mean, wouldn't it be awesome if you actually could see, and we log into the computer together and we put in a few numbers and you can see exactly how to compound. And what we do is, 2 times 2 is what? 4, okay? So we've got 22 different strategies that we can implement to compound your wealth in your business without you having to lift a finger. We'll show you exactly what to do, what difference it will make, and then how to do it, right? Because those are the only three things you need to know, right? What, where, how. That's it. Okay, so book a call with us, 10-minute call. We'll figure out a good time and figure out a little bit about your business. Make sure it works for you, because if you're not in a business that we can really compound your cash flow, we will let you know and point you in the direction of somebody who can help you. All right, so what we want to do is really look at, now what? Okay, now we're in phase 2. We have the 4 steps that you look at in phase 2. And let's dive deep into those. So we start with the entry point, right? This is your ascension path. This is level 2. And then what you want to do is that core service that you offer, okay? Clients want to continue to grow with you if they are getting results. So then you can ascend them to the next premium level. And then you can ascend them to a level of legacy. And it's really not that hard. If you're wondering, how do I build this in? Is this a lot of work? We can actually look at what you're offering, break it down into the 4 quadrants for you so that it makes sense for your clients and your customers as well. So if you don't have an ascension path within your list of all the products and services and features that you have in your business, then let us help you structure these for you. It's actually pretty simple once you see it, and then the implementation isn't very hard at all. So I think you'll really like it, because you won't feel this need to constantly, you got to make a new product for a new person and another new thing and another thing. No, you have a rather than new items all the time, you just have one, remember, singular focus, one pathway that you're taking people on. And that's really how it works. And so now we get into the 3rd level. Okay. And here's how this looks. Think of it almost like in the center. Okay. What I want you to see is the center point is your core IP. That's your core intellectual product. And this is where we start multiplying and compounding. These are where we get into your expansion offers. So it could be some add-ons that you have. You might consider some done for you upgrades for people. A lot of clients that we've worked with in the past are now at the point like, okay, my business is running smooth, but now I want to integrate some of these agentic systems. And so now maybe that's something that we can do for them and automate their business so they don't have to do it all. It might be some more team trainings. You might have workshops. We do workshops. Love to have you come to one of our workshops. Do some extra implementation. And of course, there's always licensing. And so all of this kind of details, you don't have to do all at once. You just pick one, you find the lane, you start there and you go, and you can put the rest on the shelf for now, but stick to your lane, do one thing, make $1 million, now pick another lane, make $1 million, pick another lane, make $1 million. See how easy this is to compound your wealth? Okay. So which one of these do you have in place under your core intellectual property? Now, I gotta stop for a second. If you're like, core intellectual property, I don't really have an IP. I have a widget. I have like something I sell. Now we have to turn your widget into something iconic and something that's differentiated from everybody else. So if you're just thinking, well, I do this, or maybe I'm an agency and I offer, tools, or I do SEO, or you're an electrician and you do those services, or maybe you have, you're in the medical space, you have home health care or services like that. You're a functional medicine doctor, all kinds of things, right? So how do you take what you do, your thing, and make it different, make it differentiated? Because that is the difference maker. And so if you need IP, I'm not saying you have to go out and trademark it, okay? But you can let us know if you need some help with that. But you want it to stand out from everybody else, right? This is why we say we're really focusing on building intelligence businesses and architecting them, not just spitting out services, okay? Let everybody else do that. They'll commoditize themselves and charge less and less and less. And you are building a value-based business. And that's how you want to look at your business. And if you look at the blueprint here, how are these 4 quadrants and these 4 modules that you're looking at? Module number 1 is we're focused on recurring revenue matrix. Module number 2 is the Ascension Path Builder. Module number 3, the Expansion Offer Generator. And module number 4 in our blueprint is the Compounding Calculator. Okay. Now, what's really cool is go ahead and start with a compounding calculator, right? Hop on a demo call. We'll show you the calculator. We'll give you the report. And then you can say, oh, okay, great. And then you can see which of the other modules and processes you need to build for your business. So it's kind of like an audit, right? But audit sounds scary, like an IRS audit. It's not at all like that. This is a cash flow audit. Just go to callcounting.com. We're going to look at all of these different areas and give you like a map that you can see, oh, I'm strong in this area. I'm really weak in this area. And maybe you don't even know another area exists. So once you know the different areas that you need to be focused on, then you need to know a strategy to actually do that. And from one step to another without losing momentum or going up and down and up and down. And the other thing is, you have to do this with the thought of scaling in mind, right? You don't want to try and scale if everything is messy. People try to do that and blitz scale. It can work for certain businesses, but maybe not if you don't have, a really good foundation and platform built. So go ahead and request the whole enchilada here of all of these 12 steps. These are what we take you through in a year, compressed into 12 weeks. And if you would love to know how to have a 7-figure year, just go ahead and get it all at once. Okay. And so you can see here, this is how we will do give you your tips, right? This is what we're going to do with our diagnostic tool that's customized to your business. It's unique to us. There's nobody else that has this. We'll get you all of the cash flow compounder tools along with it when you have your appointment. And then, okay, here's the best part. You can go around to everybody else and you can say, hey, I've been cubed. If you're really nice, we might even get you a t-shirt or a hat or something like that. Okay. So this is what you want to do. Get cubed in your business. Okay. And we want to get you out of the black box into this, get it really clear what your business needs to do. How do you actually make it simpler? Automate it, have cash flow coming in on a regular basis without you worrying about it. That's really the key. And too many business owners are struggling because they don't actually have a strategic plan to have more clients, more growth, and work less. That's really it. We didn't get into business just to work harder and longer. We got into it to have that freedom to do whatever we wanted with our time, with our loved ones, and to not have to worry anymore. I mean, just taking that stress out is a big difference maker. So there is a flywheel I want to share with you. This is the cash flow flywheel. And if you're familiar with the flywheel, maybe you've heard of it from Amazon. And I think also Jim Collins talks about it a lot. We've talked about it several times. And having like this rhythm of what are the stages that you are going through, right? From authority to demand to cash flow to expansion. How are you building these out? And so that's how you are able to actually walk away from your business, take vacations. We take 8 weeks a year. And what about you? How long could you go away and your business is still going? It's still systemized. And so we integrate this all as part of the SOAR formula and the systems that we do. So this is the powered point here as far as where you have to make a decision. What am I going to do right now? I'm going to say that was really interesting to watch and then go back to your chaos. Or are you going to say, you know what? I could at least start with a 10-minute call. No harm, no foul. Doesn't cost anything. They won't charge me anything. And they'll walk away with a whole bunch of freebies. Okay. And then on that 10-minute call, we can figure out, do you want to do the tips? Do you want to use our software and have us give you a map of exactly where you're weak, where you're strong, where you're bleeding money, and where you actually should compound on things that are going great, right? And there are probably things, about half of the things on your plate, that you shouldn't even be doing at all because it's taking you away from revenue producing activities and results. So what we want you to think about is think about architecting a business that compounds growth, okay? Not that confuses it, not that brings chaos, okay? And not that consumes you. So if you're ready for it, go ahead and request the Cashflow Compounder, get everything that we have here, and you can get all of it, all 12 weeks. We've got 3 more to go. This is 9, we've got 10, 11, 12, and we do have a wrap-up, a bonus. So we technically have 4 more weeks of how do you build a 7-figure year. So bring your friends, come on back next week, 2 p.m., on Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 2, Tuesdays at 2, come here and we will show you how to build a 7-figure year the intelligent way. We'll see you next week. And in the meantime, be iconic.